Skaboink One here. Just a few little tidbits of information that I've managed to acquire over the few years that I've been a Second Amendment advocate. First and foremost, in the last couple of weeks, I've had people approach me that were anti-gun only a few weeks ago, asking about how big of a deal it would be for them to procure a firearm and ammunition to defend their families, because they are losing faith in a local, state, or federal government that might be able to provide for them, at least in a timely manner. So first, I want to welcome you to the club. But secondly, I'm not going to make a big deal about browbeating you people and letting you know I told you so, but we did tell you so. We've never told you that you have to be able to operate, own firearms. We've simply asked that you not attempt to remove our right to defend ourselves. The Second Amendment is not to give us the right to keep and bear arms, but it is a restriction on the government to affect that. They can't, for our Constitution, they can't take away that right. So it doesn't give us the right. It restricts the government. So, provided this all blows over, I hope that you people don't have a short memory and you remember this feeling of despair, so that you understand that, this term that you've, labeled us with gun nuts and preppers and all that, this is what it was for. Your Second Amendment recognizes and limits the government from removing your last line of defense against a tyrannical government, and so you can defend your stuff. In a situation like this, your law enforcement, whether it's local, state, federal, their job is not to protect you. Their job is to enforce the law. So when it comes down to it, you're hearing it now in the news. Law enforcement are being stretched to their limits. So where they may have been able to worry about this small stuff of somebody stealing your stuff, or somebody stealing your car, or that sort of thing, they're not worried about that. So it's going to be up to you to defend your home, your family, your supplies, your parents, your grandparents, your elderly neighbors. So now that I'm done with the I told you so's, and I hope that you have a long-term memory if and when this does blow over. I want to go over just a few general rules that just about anybody in the firearm community, if you're able to, in these hard times, get a firearm and or ammunition for it, treat every gun as if it is loaded, no matter what. If that gun is laying there without a magazine and the breech is locked back, or the barrel for the revolver is out, you still treat that gun as if it's loaded. The gun is always loaded. If you just keep that in your mind, you're good. Keep your finger off of the trigger. Do not put your finger in the trigger guard, on the trigger, until you are ready to destroy, kill, or destroy whatever's at the other end of that firearm. I cannot stress these points enough. These are not toys. These are specialized tools, and they should be taken very seriously. While handling a firearm, whether it's a handgun, a rifle, shotgun, never sweep the barrel across someone that you're not trying to destroy or stop. So that goes along with every firearm is loaded, never pointed at anything you're not willing to destroy. Okay, so every gun is loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to pull the trigger. Do not sweep or put that barrel pointed at anyone. Always pointed in a safe direction. Most of the time that's down. It can be into the dirt, off to, in a dirt mound. Worst case scenario, straight up. That's, whatever goes up must come down, so keep that in mind. Once it, reaches its maximum height, then it comes down even at terminal velocity. Chances are that's not going to be enough to kill anybody, but it's still kind of irresponsible. So that's your last case scenario, pointing it up into the air. But for the most part, keep it pointed in a safe direction. And last but not least, when you do commit to firing that firearm and launching a projectile out of that barrel at what you were aiming at, know what you're aiming at and know what's behind what you're aiming at. With firearm people, that's a big topic of discussion. Penetration, over penetration. Don't, just willy-nilly shoot into, something that it'll go right through. Shoot through an intended target and then it ends up in an unintended target. So be aware of those situations. There's a bunch of other rules, that you're just going to have to wing it and learn. For the love of God, if you find a firearm, find someone who knows about it more than you do. Watch all the videos you want, but the best trainer is real life experience. Find yourself on a range, somebody who's got a few acres of land that you can actually, shoot these things. Learn about them. Educate yourself as best as you can. And just hope and pray that you don't need to use it. I don't know anybody in the, Pro 2A community that is looking forward to using that firearm to defend their lives, or using that firearm knowing that it is capable of taking a life. That's not why we have it. That's not why we train. We train so that we can defend our families, our children, our parents, our supplies. Your local law enforcement, state law enforcement, federal law enforcement, their job is to defend the law, to uphold the law. Their job is not to defend you. So you're already hearing about local, governments, law enforcement agencies talking about, well, we're not, if you got somebody stealing something out of your car in your driveway or trying to break into your house, unless there's violence involved, they're not coming. So if somebody's just after to come get your stuff, good luck. You're on your own. That's pretty much, what I have to say at this point. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna make a big deal about browbeating you and telling you I told you so. But hopefully your memory is long enough to remember that if and when this whole situation blows over, you'll understand why we do what we do in the Second Amendment, Second Amendment community. So hopefully this will resonate, and hopefully you can learn from this opportunity. May God be with you. I'm more than willing I'll defend anybody who needs to be defended. But understand that in these circumstances, your second priority. My family comes first. My family comes first. My kids, my wife, my parents, my grandparents, my neighbors watch my back. I watch theirs. We never said that, you have to be on board with this. You have to own guns. You have to do this. You have to do that. We've just said that don't take our right, or don't try to take our right. to defend our families. So, again, welcome on board. We love you, and we hope the best for you. But yeah, just I hope your memory is long enough to remember this. Peace out.